This is episode 354, recorded June 10th, 2016. Packard pokes at Yellowstone, now with more Horney sauce. I want to thank Microbloggedism from the chat room for this week's show title.
What time is it? It's Packard pokes at time. Hat? Check. Shirt? Check. Pants? Optional. Mug? Double check. Check us out at cafepress.com/PackardPokesAt where you can get all this great merchandise and more.
Do you like Packard Pokesat and want to hear it on demand and on the go? Download the free app today at Stitcher.com. Available on iOS, Android, Nook, and iPad.
This is Packard Pokesat, and I'm poking at your news. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another fine edition of Packard Pokesat. I am your immutable and unmutable host, Packard Sonic. And joining me tonight from the far west coast is Connie, Practical Magic 9.
Hello there, everybody. How you doing?
Yeah. And joining us from places far, far away out in Denmark is Microbloggedism from YouTube.
Hello.
Yay, hi.
I have to say, you have a very, very specific tone in your voice, and I think it actually fits your character, your icon, very well.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Me, I'm just a character, so the fact that I actually sound like this is just happen chance. This is the time of year people go on vacation, and when you're on vacation, you try to have a good time, and you try not to get hurt, because it is so easy to get hurt doing sports things, sometimes just going walking on trails, or riding a roller coaster, or swimming, or whatever. In this instance, somebody possibly died from doing
No, he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, possibly.
They updated it.
Yeah, they updated. Yeah, he possibly died on this. And the reason why I'm saying he possibly died, because I have theories. I have theories. Oh, well, I have hypotheses.
Our tinfoil hats.
Get your tinfoil hat out. I'll explain later. One of the big hot spots, and I do mean it's a hot spot, is Yellowstone National Park. And the reason why I call it a hot spot is because they literally have a caldera of lava simmering underneath the ground there, and water goes into a lot of cracks and crevices that go down there, and it doesn't quite always reach the lava. In many cases it doesn't, but it does sit on those hot rocks, and then it shoots back up. You got steam, you've got like little pools that are basically just simmering hot areas that are just too hot to be doing anything in. I mean, honestly, these are hot tubs you don't want to enter. Unless you're carrying a lobster in your pocket and you want to boil it right then and there, you probably could. These things are that fucking hot.
Phrasing. Oh.
Just this past June 8th, the National Yellowstone Rangers decided to suspend efforts to recover a body of an Oregon man who fell into a boiling hot spring this last Tuesday, according to the Associated Press. Now, they were able to recover a few personal effects, they told the AP on Wednesday, but there were no remains left to recover. They said they extend our sympathy to the Scott family. This tragic event must remind us that we all follow the regulations and stay on the boardwalks when visiting Yellowstone's geyser basins. They're not fucking around. This shit out there is dangerous. It's not like going over and trying to kiss a grizzly bear dangerous, because, that's pretty dangerous too. And the grizzly's just not into it. I'm just telling you. But these geysers, these things are literally hot. Now, the reason why I said he is allegedly dead, because, as I said, they only found some personal effects. The reason why I say that is because most likely he's dead. Most likely, I would say that he is dead. There's no getting around that.
Yeah.
But the reason why I said, but the fact is because they did not recover a body, you can't always be 100% sure because there have been incidences in the past where people faked their own death for whatever reason, and they just, in this instance, since they only were able to recover some personal effects, it doesn't specify what they were. Was it a pair of pants?
I'm guessing it's pants or something.
Yeah, pants, a shirt, something like that, which is easy enough to throw into the pool where he was last seen, and just say, that way he could just start a life over again. Connie, your thoughts?
Yeah, actually, the soil out there is kind of more like a crust.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very thick. And there was a case of a father who tripped and fell. I think was this earlier this month, or was it a couple of years ago? And he had his toddler with him, and the child's leg went into and broke the crust, and he got burns.
Yeah.
These burns are very serious, like 3rd-degree burns.
Mm-hmm.
People usually get flown to Salt Lake City to the burn victim place. They don't actually know how many accidents have been, how many people have been injured in this park.
Right.
They don't have a number on that, but a 1995 book counted 19 deaths that we knew of at the time that had happened in the park, in that area since we started going there. I went there once in 1975, and it's a beautiful place. It smells like rotten eggs because of the sulfur. But what freaked me out were some of these places have railings on, have railings on the walkways, because you go out there and you walk around all of these different pools and mud pots and calderas. But not calderas, but the pools. But then there's places where the walkways are just open.
Yeah.
And I don't like edges. I don't like cliffs, and it freaked me out. I was very uncomfortable walking out there, and I just can't even imagine. I've never been able to imagine taking toddlers there.
I can't.
That doesn't seem like something I would do.
Yeah, that's not some place you want to take it.
I wouldn't even take like young children.
No.
No. You would have to take someone who knew what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Yes. The park's actually been criticized for not having more safety measures, and I don't know why there's not like some kind of glass railing around every single walkway. Some that people can still see, but that they can't just they can't have little guys just dart out, or somebody just trip and fall.
Yeah.
It's all lawsuits against the park have failed, and I don't. The
reason why they probably fail is they probably make you sign an agreement, like in some rides. Yeah. Like if you're going to take this ride, you agree that anything that happens to you, it's your fault. Yeah. So you're just being there. Michael Blugganism, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, obviously it's sad that someone died, but then again, if he was approximately 0.13 miles off the boardwalk.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't just trip, he walked out there.
Yeah.
So I can't really it sounds bad, but he kind of got what he deserved, like, for walking off that far. Like, it's pretty obvious that you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, you need to stay on those boardwalks, because they say that it's illegal to venture off the park boardwalks.
Yeah, both for your own safety and also because it's actually fairly sensitive. Like, the structures there are pretty brittle.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
There's been people out there that they've gone out there and they step on the wildlife for whatever reason, or not just animals, but they damage the grass or the grasses or whatever whatever's growing there, if there is anything growing there.
There is actually, but yeah.
And then and that's damaging the wildlife actually in that area. So
yeah, it is a national park after all.
Yeah, and that's the thing about people. I mean, this is not a blanket statement for everybody, because some people, they go down there and they will actually respect the land, as it were. I mean, respect is earned, and trust me, respect for this land is earned immediately, because it will fucking kill you if you disrespect it.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous place, and everything there wants to kill you.
Yeah. That's like going to Australia. It's a beautiful place, but everything there wants to kill you.
Except for that,
Except for that, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Now imagine if Yellowstone was in Australia.
Oh shit.
Lord.
Oh shit. You might as well just put a black hole in Australia at that point then.
Yes.
Or out in the middle of the ocean. Hey, fuck you. We got a black hole in the middle of the ocean. Oh, well, we'll just go by it anyway. Just say hi or some shit. But seriously, if you're out in these locations, please take great care and follow what they say. Unless they say, go, yeah, that big pool boiling water over there, yeah, just go over and kiss it or some shit. Then don't listen to them at that point. They most likely won't. But if they say, stay on the path, fucking stay on the path. And we have microbloganism from YouTube and from Denmark. Well,
Yep.
he's Denmark and YouTube, or YouTube and Denmark, one of the two, or both.
I guess both.
Both.
technically.
I have some quick general questions for you. At the beginning of your videos, you say hello something. I'm not catching it. I play it back over and over, and I cannot figure out what the hell it is you're saying.
Gnattostomes.
Nattlestomes?
Gnattostomes. Gna. Oh fuck! I can't spell it. It's fancy biology jargon for vertebrates with a lower jaw.
Oh, I did not know
It
that.
literally means jaw mouth.
Oh, okay, I did not know that. I bet you have one for mouth breather too.
Actually, I don't think so.
Okay.
I just know it because it's an actual evolutionary term. It's a group, and seeing as my avatar character doesn't have a lower jaw,
Oh, okay.
all the audience have it. It's it's sort of a joke on that.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. How did you come up with the name microbloganism? By the way, it's a great catch name.
I knew that question would come up, and
Yeah.
I can't answer it because I can't remember.
Oh,
I know the name. I know the name is a combination of like microorganism and microblogging.
yeah, I get that point.
But I can't remember how I came up with it or
Oh.
why.
Okay.
I know it extends as far back as like 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when I made the YouTube channel.
Okay.
But I can't remember how I came up with it or how I chose it.
Oh.
It's just gone.
Oh. How did you come up with the image? The little. It looks like a Jello cube with a brain and eyeballs,
Yeah.
and then the teether in the mouth. That's brilliant.
Well, let me start with the last thing. The reason it has the pacifier or dummy or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
is because it actually started out as a baby version of another character,
Oh, really?
which was basically bigger and like basically all I changed was like how big the blob is compared to everything else. So it ends up with a big brain and big eyes, and then put the pacifier on. But yeah, the original character was basically I like the concept of like gelatinous cubes and blobs and sort of like as a monster, as a creature.
Okay.
But I always felt they were being seen as sort of stupid, unintelligent, like basically like grind fodder.
Oh.
And I kind of wanted to have like a character that was a blob, but also like a real character.
Okay. I don't know if you're familiar with the game Minecraft at all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he kinda looks like-
slimes were part of the inspiration.
Oh, really? Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
But originally the character didn't start out as a cube. It actually started out more as like just a pile, more like a flat egg.
Oh,
Almost.
okay. That's kind of cool.
Also, interesting fact: it's the shape of it is not actually a cube. It's actually what's known as a super egg, which is the 3D version of a super ellipse.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I got a couple of quick questions here for you.
Fair enough.
All right. Were you ever religious? And if you were, how did you come to your non-belief?
I wasn't religious I probably wasn't religious in an American sense. I was religious in the sort of, no, there's something out there sense, which is what most people in Denmark are.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got like religious studies in, well, the equivalent of high school. It's not technically, our education system is slightly different. And that basically prompted me to start thinking about it. And I ended up leaving the state church because, yes, we have that.
Okay.
And I basically like being forced to study it it kind of prompted me to think about it. And then I decided, I don't believe there's something out there anymore.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. How do you go about producing your videos? How do you edit and film them? I mean, I remember seeing a few of them. Like you had the one where he's like, you cut the peppers and everything like that. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing, and you're like prompting and whatever in the foreground. How do you produce those videos?
Well, the moving background, it's basically a table. It's not actually made of wood. It's actually made of bamboo, so it's technically a grass. So I have a grass table.
Okay.
It's just my phone on. Now I have like a proper stand, but in the beginning it was just like a bookend, and then on top of a book, and then I just leaned the phone up against the bookend, and then I film it and have something in the background, and I like pick out the background depending on the script. But I make my videos, I start out by finding something to debunk, obviously, and then I write the script. And then I will record the script in Audacity, and then I will film it on the table with all the backgrounds and film the outro thing, which is on my kitchen table. Mm-hmm. And then put it all together in Lightworks. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
And the effect of the blob moving around is really animation. It's basically just a glorified picture. Slideshow.
Oh yeah.
I basically have a bunch of pictures I can put in.
I suppose you take and choose the ones that you want to put in for, like when you're doing certain expressions, like when you get angry. Look, like not angry, but I mean you're like this is so fucking crazy.
Yeah. I basically go through it. Like I put the audio in, and then I put the video in, and then I basically go through it through each segment and put in. Like change how long it's supposed to be there, and it takes a bit of time, but it's a good way of work. I find it's actually a good way of like working with it, because I have to listen to myself a lot, so I get a good feel for what works and what doesn't work, like from an audio standpoint.
Okay.
Not audio standpoint, more like voiceover standpoint. Because it's basically a voiceover.
Oh yeah. What made you decide to get into making YouTube videos? And are there any other YouTubers out there that inspired you to start posting?
Well, there are other YouTubers who not just inspired me, but basically encouraged me to do it. Which would be Finite Atticus and Jason with a D. Mm-hmm. I had been in a hangout with them, and then afterwards they basically. On multiple occasions, they basically encouraged me to make something, and my answer would always be, but I haven't found anything. I mean, I had the concept, I knew the format was pretty much down, but I needed something to, like, get it started. And then I made the mistake of watching the news, and, which ended up being my first video with the Danish lady who doesn't want to vaccinate her kids.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's
So I actually had to do subtitles for my first video, which was in hindsight, I think that was a bold choice, because that probably put someone off.
I went through that video where they had the lady saying she's gonna do these macro whatevers, and it's like, oh, this thing's gonna kill you, or this is good stuff for you, and you're like, no, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. You have way more patience to deal with people like that than I do. I mean, I
don't have patience. It's just that I have the courtesy of having written a script, and I can edit out all the swearing and
fuck it, leave it in.
It would probably be nothing but swearing. But that,
You should, just for fun, you should just do that. Just you get one that's like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck that. Just call it the all swearing show, the all swearing episode.
No. To be honest, like I don't hate a lot of people, but usually I end up hating, like through just having to listen to them so much, or stupid so much. I end up kind of hating the people I debunk.
Yeah, I get that.
I can't really help it.
Oh, I get that. I get that a lot. I understand that. What is the best videos on the channel you've ever seen on YouTube?
On other channels?
Yeah. What's the best video you've ever seen on another channel?
The best video. I don't have a specific video. I think.
Okay.
I don't really know. I don't think I have a specific video. No.
Okay. All right. I'm just out of curiosity because I know there's a lot of videos. YouTube, you can't keep up with it. There's just millions that get added like every day, and there's just like 1,000 every 10 seconds or some shit like that.
Yeah, I've given up on subscribing to most. Like people have to for me to subscribe. They have like it has to be something real. Like I think, okay, I really want to watch that. But there's plenty of people I think, oh, that's actually cool. I want to subscribe, but I already have so much in my subscription feed. I can't keep up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. I get that. I'm subscribed to, I don't know, about 100 people or something. Most of these people don't post anymore, or they post like once a month. So it's like, okay, I can go through them, and it's like when they finally decide to pop up, and some I've subscribed to, and I'm like, I don't remember subscribing to you.
I know that feeling.
I was like, I must have saw something in you I liked, but I have no idea why the hell I still want to listen to you anymore. I don't know. Microblogging. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do outside of your YouTube persona? What do you do for work, like in the real world?
Well, boring stuff. Right now, I'm basically working at a warehouse, and basically it's a warehouse for an online store. When you click what you want to have, I'm the guy who goes around and picks the stuff off the shelf and puts it in a box. That's basically my job right now.
So
when I started making YouTube videos, I was just beginning on my bachelor's project, which I finished and got my degree in November last year.
Oh,
and I'm basically just taking a break until I will be continuing with my master's degree.
Oh,
next year.
What are you getting a master's degree in?
Biology, specializing in cell biology and physiology.
Oh, cool. You'd be able to tell us what our cells are made of and everything, right?
Well, I'm pretty. I can tell you sort of that now.
Oh,
that's more like. I mean, I have a bachelor's in biology after all. So.
Oh, okay. I was just kind of curious. I mean, the only thing biology I know is like I wake up, I eat, and I go to sleep. That's my biology.
You forgot poop.
Oh, and poop. Yeah, I got to poop every once in a while. I got to poop once in a while. Yeah, we all poop.
It's important to poop.
It is very important to poop. It's very important to poop.
I'm gonna have a poster with that. It's important to poop.
It's important to poop.
Just a picture of a toilet.
I have an adult son who'd want that poster too.
Well, there's a market for it.
Well, Connie, do you have any questions for microblogginism?
Yeah. So, what do you want to do with your degree in biology?
Well, yeah, research of some kind. Whether that be in private sector or in the academic sector, I'm not sure yet. That's sort of that's sort of what ends up where I end up. Don't really care so much about that exactly where. I want to do research. I want to contribute to the knowledge of mankind. To sound all grand and stuff.
Well, I mean, well, I guess I'm curious because, okay, sciences for me when I was in high school was kind of the last thing I did. I find them much more interesting now, but I was more into the arts and things like that. With a degree, with a specialization in cellular and physiological biology, what would you be looking for? What would you be studying? Trying to figure out with those degrees.
A lot of that is like it's basically how like all the small like minute and usually boring details of how the body works and how cells work. So I mean there's a lot of disease things in there because like understanding the molecular and like cellular mechanisms behind a lot of diseases is how we cure them. But also just like figuring out there's a lot of things we don't know yet. There's like plenty of genes we don't know what they code for. So and when we know, and sometimes we know what they code for, but not what a protein does and stuff. Like so, there's a lot of room there. It's biology is an extraordinarily broad field. Even when you specialize.
Is there anything that you in your doing your masters and your research and things like this that to get your masters, is there anything that when you first learned about it, I mean something that they already knew they're teaching this to you, did they teach you something that when you found out about it the first time, I should say, it was like a wow moment for you, or it's like I didn't, this is really really odd, and it's just like kind of like, I wouldn't say knock your socks off, but I mean like just make you go, just gives you the holy shit moment?
Not. It's a cop-out answer, but not really. I kind of knew a lot of things. Like I had a lot of background knowledge, obviously, because I took a biology focused thing in what would be the equivalent of high school. We have some we have specialization even in that, so it's kind of weird. And it's sort of very gradual. Like it's a gradual, like learning it is a gradual process because there's a lot of like build up. There's a few things like when my bachelor's project was on tardigrades and their ability to survive things, and when I took them up and took them out of the freezer and saw that they had survived being in liquid nitrogen for a week. That was
what? Really?
Oh, wow.
They're not directly in it. They're in like a plastic thing with water in it. As long as you cool them down slowly, they can survive it.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That was kind of like, okay, I knew that was a thing, but now like seeing it, that was pretty awesome.
Oh, wow.
And seeing bacteria for the first time in a microscope, that's like, I think it's a lot of like things you hear. Yeah, the knock your socks off moments are mostly like hearing about it, but not having seen it and then seeing it.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see that. I know somebody on Twitter who uses a tardigrade for their icon, and I always thought it was some kind of made up thing, like because I'd never seen one before. And then I remember hearing about him. Was that show that was on with Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Cosmos.
Cosmos. Yeah, he talked about that on there. I was like, holy shit, that's a real thing.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh wow.
Real animals. There's like over 1,000 species known, and probably a lot more.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Could you imagine those things being like life size?
I actually can't. I watched a movie on Netflix, a horror movie where those things get enlarged. Of course, some kind of radiation or something. But they were very frightening in the movie. But I'm like, wow.
What do you think? What do you think would die? The tardigrade if it was full size, or us if it was full size?
The tardigrade, because it wouldn't be able to get enough oxygen. There's a limit on how big. If you don't have lungs or gills or something, there's a limit to how big you can get because you have to get the oxygen through diffusion. So there's a limit on how big arthropods can get.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why you don't see giant spiders.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, like in the movies, like in the 1950s movies, where the giant spiders are coming down. Ah! Everybody run away!
They would literally suffocate.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, but there was that one? Okay, again, science isn't my thing, but there was that one period where they did have giant insects, and it was because the atmosphere
content was a
was
lot higher.
different, right?
Yeah.
There was this.
You had dragonflies as big as eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was this old movie from the 1970s, and I still can't watch the movie because it's just first time I saw it, I was very young. It's like freaked me out. It was called Empire of the Ants or some shit like that. They like these ants ate some weird.
Oh, with William Shatner?
No, I don't know. Was he? I don't remember. Was he in that? I don't remember
No idea.
I have no idea. But apparently, this is how I remember the story playing out. These ants ate some silvery shit, and they became like big as a tank. Would an animal like that, like an ant like that, if it got that big, would it be able to survive?
No.
Really?
It would suffocate. And there's also the thing that you can't just scale up an animal. Because as you increase it, its surface area and its volume doesn't increase equally.
Okay.
And also, the bigger something is, you also need proportionally bigger legs and bigger bones to support it.
Okay. More gravity, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
So we can look at all these horror movies that they like the giant ants and giant spiders and giant gorillas or whatever. It just falls flat, biologically speaking.
yeah, they would have to have super strong bones.
Okay.
It's also why the old question of would you rather fight like one horse-sized dog or 100 dog-sized horses is stupid, because both of them would die.
Oh.
The big dog would collapse under its own weight, and like its legs would break under its own weight, and it would overheat, and the small horses would freeze to death.
Wow. We had the real par marshal that says water bears laugh at radiation, and he said that those would be really awesome if they were really large, I guess.
They don't actually laugh that much at radiation, but fair enough. It kind of their reproduction gets kind of fucked up by it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of cool. And he also says, like, gravity! So
True desert file style.
Desert file, yeah.
That's
Yes.
a tongue twister.
That's Connie, did you have any other questions for?
Just one more. You say you made your channel in 2011, but when I was at your channel, I noticed you only have, what is it, like 7 or 8 videos. Do you have videos somewhere else, or did you take them down, or you just only been posting them recently?
Yeah, I've only been posting videos recently.
Okay. So it's like you just started and then just decided to. Like,
I was like I started like lurking, and then I started like posting comments. Like when I first started out, I was watching completely different channels from what I'm watching now. I was kind of glad actually that YouTube did the update thing with the comment section, because it meant that all of my old like teenage stupid stuff kind of got buried.
We were all teenagers once.
Why? But it was close.
Yeah. Well, we were all teenagers once, so I understand that. Connie, do you have any other further questions for microbloganism?
Do we get another video sometime soon?
I'm almost done with the script.
Oh, good.
For it, and it's probably going to be the longest video yet.
How long does it take you to generally create a video from start to finish? I mean, does it vary?
I mean, I can create like one I know the second video I made, I created that in a week, but sometimes it takes 3 months. It depends on what else I've had going on in my life, and also how much research it requires me to do, and how complicated the subject is, and also just having to figure out what the hell people mean. Like a lot of times they're pretty unclear, and you have to do like a fair amount of research, like into woo and stupid shit to figure out what they mean, and so you're not making a straw man out of them and actually targeting their arguments. But figuring out what their arguments is actually takes a lot longer than you would expect.
I can understand that. I can totally understand that.
Well, when their logic goes in concentric circles, ever dwindling,
Yeah.
it can be difficult.
Yeah, and they have a tendency to misuse terminology a lot. So you have to figure out what they mean when they say a certain word, because I'm used to it meaning something specific because I know what the word actually means.
Right. Does that ever drive you crazy when they say certain things you know is like completely way wrong, and you're like, you find yourself screaming at the screen like, shut up, you don't know what they're fucking talking about.
Yes. I mean, in the next video, I'm dealing with a guy who literally says that carcinogens doesn't cause cancer, which is literally in their name.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's literally what the word means. It means cancer causing.
Oh, criminy. Oh, criminy. Well, microblogganism, where can they find your channel?
I don't think I have a custom URL, but just
Actually,
search microblogganism on YouTube and probably find it. It's with 2 G's.
Yes, it's MIROBLOGGANISM. Actually, I did look that up, and you do actually, your URL is your microblogganism one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's not that why monkey face whatever thing that YouTube does to most channels.
All right, yeah. Well, well, yeah. That's my channel, and I'm also on Twitter.
Yes, under the same name.
Also under microblogganism.
Yes.
It's the good thing about that name. It's unique enough that it's most places it's not taken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this is true.
Yeah, we had a previous guest on that has a name that's just like another. It's actually the same similar name to another podcast. So yeah, trying to get people to go to his podcast is a little problem. But yours is very unique.
Contact us by email at ppappodcast@gmail.com or on Twitter as @PackardPokesat. Like us on Facebook.com/PackardPokesat. Call our Google Voice and leave a message at 662-709-PPAP or 662-709-7727, and we will respond to it on the show. Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time. Join us live at vonlive.tv/PackardPokesat. During the show, you can share your thoughts with us by calling 857-216-3200 using PIN number 35368 or on uberconference.com/PackardPokesat. For links to the stories, visit our show page at packardpokesat.wordpress.com. You can help support the show by purchasing merchandise from cafepress.com/PackardPokesat or make a donation to the show at patreon.com/PackardPokesat. If you can't afford any money, why not share the show with your friends and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker, and on YouTube. For everyone that shares and rates us, you kick ass.
The Atheists,
The Bible.
and No Wardrobe, the podcast.
Wait a minute. No wardrobe? You mean we're going to be naked while we do this?
Well, seeing how I'm an atheist and I'm reading the Bible, and since clothes are flammable,
Fire! Fire! Fire!
I thought it might be a good idea to take them all off first.
Naked or not, follow along as we read, analyze, and try to keep you from falling asleep as we go through this boring-ass book.
Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spreaker. Who knows? We may even be on YouTube someday. Be sure to check out our secondary show, The Atheist, the Bible, and No Wardrobe. We're trying to get through this goddamn piece of shit. It is boring. It is really fucking boring. But we try to make it as entertaining as possible. I mean, it is as entertaining as the Bible is going to allow us, considering the source material and everything. So But we actually have a little bit of fun with it at times. I mean, the names are just completely absurd. Every once in a while, you come across a Dan. But I want to bet you there's like a longer name, and then they just said, fuck it, just cut it off and just name it Dan.
Even they got tired of it.
Yeah. Some of these names have no fucking vowels. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's Hebrew for you.
Yes. Paul Marshall saying maybe if we read it backwards. I've considered it. I've tried. I've a couple times I stood on my head and I'm like, no. There's just no way. There's no way I'm doing it.
Now I'm imagining a show where you read the whole Bible backwards.
I tried that, but I couldn't see the screen. Anyway, it's on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spreaker. If you want to find the show, it's at abandnw.wordpress.com, and you can find the links to all those locations there.
What if we picked the wrong religion? Every week we're just making God madder and madder.
Testify!
ISIS has been a big pain in the fucking ass to the whole goddamn world in one way or the other. They're either destroying things, or they're just killing people for being gay, or just being accused of being gay, or they're just killing the women that they've coerced to coming over there and fill their head full of nonsense online so they can just like, hey, come and join the freedom fighters. We're fighting for our religious freedoms and whatever. And that's very sad and very sick that they are convincing these gullible people to go and fight and die for people that they don't even know, just for the fact is that, well, they have the money to send them places. And some people find that very attractive, that they's like, yeah, I could go and fight. I can't get into my military because I'm a woman, or I've got too much fat, or whatever. But the sad part about this is that they're the women doing this, not the fact that the women are women in this instance. It's just the fact is that when these women get over there, they're treated really horribly. They are told, I'm not even sure what exactly that is that they're told, that when they're met online by these Muslims, they say, oh, come on over, we'll treat you really nice and give you flowers and candy, or I have no idea what that is that entices these women to want to join up to these dickheads. But when they get there, they are, like I said, they are severely mistreated. In fact, just recently, 19 Yazidi women were put to death for refusing to have sex with the fighters. I wouldn't want to either, because these people, they're probably really stinky, smelly, whatever. I mean, not that I would want to, but it's just a horrible thing. These Yazidi women were in an area where ISIS has taken over the country over in that part there, and they are trying to force these women to have sex with them, and they just didn't want to. So they put them into cages, set them on fire in front of their families and their neighbors and friends, just for the simple fact of saying no. Connie, your thoughts?
You know, when people talk about women's rights, and I don't think that we have to compare apples and oranges, but I'm really shocked that there's still places in the world that women are treated like this. These women that were burnt, they might have been some of the women who were captured. I don't have the story, but they were captured in 2014, and again in Yazidi. There were 1,000 women and also a bunch of children who were captured by ISIS, and the children were sold by militants to be raised by Sunni families, and they were selling the daughters for like $2 each in Mosul. I just can't believe people would treat other people like this anyway. Really? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm left kind of speechless on this.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that people would do this.
Yeah,
to other human beings.
Yeah, the reason why I think they did this is because they're the women that are still alive, not the ones in the cages, obviously. They're trying to make it a statement saying, listen, we're in control here, and if you don't listen to us, and even if we just want to have sex with you and you say no, this is your fate. This is your punishment. Honestly, I don't see much difference other than the fact is that the Christians don't actually go through with this. They don't put people in cages for saying no, but they still threaten people with being burnt alive forever. So they're closer to being ISIS than they even want to imagine, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Microbloganism, your thoughts?
Well, I think the main takeaway point here is fuck ISIS.
Yeah.
I don't really have much else to say. I have plenty of jokes, but I don't want to make them. It's just horrible. Yeah.
This whole situation is just nasty as fuck. Women deserve to have the same rights as everybody else does. Just because your religion says, hey, you have to bow down and do whatever it is I say, doesn't mean jack shit.
And what's keeping the universe together right now? It is Jesus Christ. He upholds the universe by the word of his power.
Insane in the membrane. Crazy insane, got no brain. Insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain.
Brian Fucktard Fisher is with us tonight. Sort of. This guy is a fucking piece of work. What those Yazidi women went through, he is saying basically not quite the same thing, but it's right along the same lines. He said that premarital sex gives legal ground to Satan to control your relationship, which is not a thing. But we have a video, so let's hear it right from the ass's mouth.
Oh, the ass's ass.
Yeah, the ass's ass. Let's listen right from the ass's ass.
And then the fourth thing we learned from the book of the Song of Solomon is that sex is worth waiting for. It's an astonishing number of even Christian couples today. I read a survey not too long ago that only 3% of Christian couples wait until they are married to have sex. Now, that figure may be wrong. That may be low. That's just the latest figure that I read. But it indicates clearly that even among Christian couples who should know better and should understand that God's purpose is to wait, postpone sexual engagement until you're actually married, many are coloring outside the lines. And when we do this, here's the reason it's a problem, is when an engaged couple has sex before they are married, it gives legal ground to Satan. It gives him some turf. It gives him some space. It gives him some part of that relationship over which he has control. Because remember, I said sex is very powerful. If it is misused, it's one of the ways in which Satan is given very powerful legal ground in a relationship. So one of the things I counsel married couples to do, if they had sex before they got married, there may be problems that they are encountering in their marriage relationship that stem from the fact that they gave ground to Satan before they ever got married. And he's held on to that turf, and he's used that turf to work damage to the relationship. So I urge them to go together before God, confess the sin of sexual immorality before marriage, claim his forgiveness, renounce any ground, any claim that Satan has made on the relationship, accept God's forgiveness, and then move on with a fresh start.
What a fucking pile of shit.
Yeah. I do like his wording, like coloring outside the lines.
Yeah.
It's an interesting.
Yeah, it really is. Like, don't color outside the line. There's used to be this commercial. It was for the Isuzu truck. He says it started out with the da da da. The kid in the school is like, and the teacher's saying, "Don't color outside the lines. The lines are your friends." And he's like, "Oh yeah, fuck you!" And so he shows up to be Joe Isuzu. So
yay!
I just want to comment a couple pieces here. He says, when a couple engage and have sex before they're married, it gives legal ground to Satan. Since when did Satan, if he were a real thing, need legal ground to do anything?
That's again, his choice of words are interesting.
Yeah, and it says it gives him turf. It gives him some space. What space? Does Satan need space? He owns.
Satan is apparently a lawyer.
Apparently. It says it gives him a part in the relationship which he has control. Okay, this is the same kind of bullshit that Christians say, okay, well, if you get married, well, you have to have a relationship with God in there, so it's a threesome. God, man, and woman. Fuck off. You're just putting it in a different perspective. And I got to tell you, it doesn't matter which deity it is. It's both bullshit either way. He says if it's misused, sex is being misused. Okay. It's one of which way Satan is given very powerful ground in the relationship. No, Satan's not getting any ground in the relationship because Satan's not a real thing. The fact that he's actually counseling married couples just frightens me to no end.
Yeah. They won't stay married for long.
No, they will definitely not stay married for long. And the fact is that if there's a Satan in this married couple's life, it's him. I guess I just got to say, I used to be religious. One of the things that the pastors used to do is they would talk about something that was happening in their own lives or someone that was close to them, and then they would make a sermon about it. Makes me wonder if maybe, as sickening as it sounds, somebody in Brian Fisher's life, a son, daughter, whatever, was caught having sex before they got married. So he's like, well, you're having sex, even though they're probably engaged to get married or whatever. They've been probably engaged for like a year or whatever. They got caught having sex, and now he's talking about it. So he's trying to get them to confess your sins to God. Even though you're going to be married later on, it doesn't matter because, well, reasons. You know, being married is nothing but a fucking piece of paper that says
legal contract.
It's just a legal fucking contract. And they say, well, it's a contract between you and God. No, I got married once. I'm divorced now, but when I got married, it didn't say, and God is part of my marriage. If he was, where's the fucking child support, fucker? I'm just saying. Where's
Hold on. To give child support, you would have to have children with him.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying because they say that God's in part of the family, so when you have sex with your wife, God's part of the children too. So hey, you know,
always having a threesome.
Yeah, he's always a threesome in there. So it could have been God's child. I don't know. I'm just saying. God's not around to take the DNA test. I'm just saying. You know. Connie, your thoughts?
Our Bible readings have really been proving that.
Absolutely.
God's very much invested and interested in what happens in the bedroom.
Pervert.
Yeah, these guys are. They talk about atheists being perverts. We're not going around sticking our noses in everybody's business, especially in the bedroom.
No.
We don't care if it's a guy, two guys, two women and a guy, or two guys and one woman, whatever your floats your boat. Or you could have a fucking room full of naked people walking around fucking people randomly. I don't care as long as everybody's consenting. It's none of anybody else's fucking business.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you have any additional thoughts, Connie? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I couldn't find his statistics anywhere. Nowhere did I see that, like, 3%, you know, I couldn't find any statistic, like Brian Fisher's quoting. The statistics are different. I mean, I think that Christians, it's like 40-some% or maybe 39% of Christians, wait until marriage now. Most of them don't. You know, it's a higher percentage now of people who, it's okay. They don't. It doesn't make a difference in a marriage. And I don't know where he pulled that stat out of his ass.
Yeah.
So.
You know, honestly, I think he's completely wrong. I mean, as long as you are of consenting age, if everybody's over 18 or over whatever consenting age is where you're from, and everybody's consenting, I should say. That's the key word. They're consenting. Then
don't you shudder when you think about him counseling married couples?
I do. I think I am deathly afraid of the fact that he's counseling people.
Then you probably shudder even more when you realize he's had sex with someone.
Ugh. There's a thought I didn't want to hear in my brain. Thank you.
I had to share it with someone.
I know you did. I was thinking it, but I didn't want to say it.
I don't want to be alone in the pain.
You know, honestly, there is a thing. You can get along with all different parts of your life, but let's just say you finally get together and you finally have sex for the first time, and you find out that she wants to dress like a doggy and he wants to get spanked and have a dildo rammed up his ass, and you didn't know this before, and these two people don't want to do that with each other, then you're sexually incompatible. he is a piece of shit because he wants people to get married before they have sex and, figure things out for themselves if they're sexually compatible. Then you're going to be in a relationship where you don't want to have sex with the other person, and that's just a horrible relationship.
Yeah, you would never buy a car without test driving it first.
Exactly. I know we're not trying to say that men and women are cars, but it's along the same line because we'll say, well, we accuse them of using poor imagery, but
we are.
Yeah.
Just admit it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to say it's. We want to be sure that we explore each other's likes and dislikes, because if you don't know what turns you on or what turns on your partner before you take that final step, then it's a lot harder to get divorced later on. I mean, it's a long, involved process. And the fact is, they don't want people to get divorced because they think, well, once you get married, that's it. You should just stay married no matter what. The man beats you, the woman cheats, or the man cheats, or the woman's a drunk, the man's a drunk, someone's doing drugs, someone's being abusive. Doesn't matter. You should just stay married anyway. Either way, they just want you to stay married. Just pump out a unit to give to their imaginary sky wizard, so that they can just keep the indoctrination going, and that's all they care about.
Yeah, and once you have kids, it's even harder to get the divorce.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I know this for a fact. Microblogging, do you have any additional thoughts?
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say.
Blame Florida, blame Florida. And if we had half a brain, we would give it back to Spain. Blame Florida, blame Florida. That's what happens when you make a state with sand.
Yes, we're going to Florida today.
Yay!
I've been to Florida.
Of America.
I've been there.
Yeah, I've been to Florida. I was in there. I was in the state of Florida for about 8 hours. That's just in and gone. But so I didn't get to see too much. But we've covered Florida a lot on this show, and there's always something interesting to talk about when it comes to Florida. A Florida man's desire to change the nearby lake is becoming very controversial. Why would the name of a lake be controversy at all? I mean, why would you want to change the name of a lake? I mean, what would be wrong with it? Well, in this instance, the lake is called Lake Horney. Horney. Lake Horney. I'm imagining that at some point there was somebody that actually had that name.
Yeah, that's why it's named after someone. Yeah. It says that in the article.
Yeah. So Zimmerman told the board, this is the guy who wants to have the name changed. His name is Barry Zimmerman. He lives on the lake shores of Lake Horney. He petitioned to change the name because he's sick of the salacious jokes that keep popping up when people mention Lake Horney. You know what? Fucking deal with it, dude. Just because you are uncomfortable with the name and you think that, people are making jokes at the expense of that.
I would love to live in a place with a funny name like that.
I would too. I would be like, you want to come over? Hey, I live over at Lake Horney. Yeah. And
I could just see that pickup line.
Yeah, it is. I mean, well, I'm sure you get your face slapped a few times, but hey, you never know. You might get the one.
It's a fun pickup line. Let's put it like that.
I've lived on a lot of unusual places with very unusual names, and the one where I'm at currently, I tell them that, and they look at me and go, "Really?" I say, "Yes, really. That's really where the place, the address I live at." It's like, okay. Zimmerman has petitioned the U.S. Board of Geographic Names to rename the lake, according to the Lakeland Ledger newspaper. He told the board that he does not want to denigrate Mr. Horney's contributions to the history of Lakeland, but he wants the name change because it's a homonymic to a vulgar term meaning...
I like that they point out what it's a common term for. Like, people won't know.
Yeah. It means that you're horny. I mean...
It's not like some obscure word. Like,
right.
It's...
In an unrelated note, the word horny, there was this old TV show called Soap, and they wanted to get the word horny into the show, but they knew if they left it in, just that one word, they'd say, no, you can't use that word. So they threw in a bunch of, this is how the story goes. They threw in a bunch of other words that they know that they would reject, and they thought, well, if they go through these, they won't see that one, and we'll get it in. And that's exactly how it got in there. So it's like, oh, you're not lonely, you're just horny. So So yeah, you look that one up if you want to. I don't know which episode it was, but it was just a funny story on how they actually got that in there. But I got a suggestion for you, dude. Maybe if you pronounce it differently, like Horney. There you go. It doesn't sound salacious, really. Horney, or just pronounce it like
that just sounds pretentious.
It does sound pretentious. I live on Lake Horney. I live on Lake Horney. It almost sounds French. It's
yeah.
Like, ooh,
Lake
Horney or Canadian. Yeah. So Horney. Oh, either that or you say it's a sauce. It's like yeah, it's named after the Horney sauce. Whatever, you know.
I want to make a sauce called that now.
Would you like some Horney sauce?
Ew. I just realized.
Kind of your thoughts.
Okay, he obviously bought the house there. They didn't just recently name the lake that.
Uh-huh.
He knew it was named that when he moved there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just that. There's also two other things in town that are named for this guy. His name was Julius Teague Horney. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't. And the guy wouldn't even be on camera because I was curious. Okay, what does this Bill Zimmerman, prude look like? And he declined to be on camera for an interview. Like, oh, I bet he did. he's really like one of maybe two people who want the name change. I think it's just him.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just fine with it.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, he's probably looks like somebody who has a real stick up his ass anyway. So, I don't know.
Apparently, a woman also said that she changed the orientation of her house during a remodel, so she didn't have to tell people she lived on the Lake Horney Drive. It's like, okay, we're gonna turn all right. The door's going over there. We're actually on a different drive. We're on.
Move.
Yeah, we're on.
Move.
Yeah, come in.
If you're going to that lengths, like those lengths, yeah, just move.
Move. Just fucking move.
I would love to live like as I said, I would love to live in a place with like a funny name.
Oh, I would too.
So too. That's funny.
Now, apparently, Zimmerman wants to drop the Lake Horney and rename it in honor of Alfred Lodwick, an aviation pioneer who built the military pilot training program in Lakeland during World War II. But the Geographic Board has asked the Lakeland officials to weigh in on their options before making the final decisions. I really hope they say, go fly a kite. Everybody else is fine with it. You're just being a prude. You got to stick up your ass. How I know you have a stick up your ass? I saw you dragging it in when you're walking in here.
I sort of wonder if this pilot guy, this Alfred Lodwick, if it's a relative of his.
Now that would be interesting.
Or if he's just like, if he's like just a big fan and he's just looking for an excuse to name something after him. After him.
I need him to be named after something after him.
Yeah, now apparently there was somebody who passionately defended the Lake Horney's name in an editorial. It does, and it goes.
The dog.
Yeah, it says here, this is, of course, very stupid and should not be condoned. What does this say to all the people out there who have to go through life with unintentionally hilarious names? What of all the Mr. and Mrs. Coxes, Dixes, Cummings, Cockburns, and Gaylords? Do we say to the residents of Florida with snicker-worthy last names that no matter how hard they work and no matter how much they contribute to the community, that they can never dream of having a street or park or lake named after them after all because teenagers have ill-developed sense of humor? Hey, I'm not a teenager.
Yeah,
I have an
I'm not a teenager either. I can't help but snigger at it.
Yeah, I can't.
It's funny.
It is. It's incredibly funny. Michael Blogadis, would you have any additional thoughts on this?
Not really. It's funny. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, in Denmark, we literally have a town named Seaman. Well, for it. We have we have a town named the Danish word for intestine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
we hear
things have funny names.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
We here in Wisconsin, I've been to this city. There's a city just way north of me. It's called Spread Eagle.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
I was like, it's a small city. I'm going, man, people are getting lucky up here. I'm just saying. I would live in Spread Eagle. If it wasn't so fucking far north, I'd move to Spread Eagle.
I mean, yeah, there's a place. I mean, it's like the town in Austria that is literally called fucking.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
It's the most stolen. It's the most stolen road sign in Europe. The town sign.
Oh man. Tonight we have a funny tweet, something we haven't done in a while because, well, we've been having a lot of good comments on the show pages. So if you make a comment on one of our longer shows, your chance of getting it on a short show is greatly increased. So bring us your comments. We want to read them on the air. We have the tweet here tonight from RVG is funny, and he says, I just read an article about a man swept out to sea during a baptism. I guess that's God's way of saying, nope.
Or it's God's way of saying, okay, now he's in. Now give him. Hand him over.
Hand him over. We're taking him now.
Yeah. God is so impatient.
He's patient little fucker, isn't he?
Pervert, impatient.
Yeah, pervert, impatient, warmonger, all those things.
I mean, instead of calling him the Sky Fairy, we should just call him the Sky Child.
Sky Child.
Yeah, it's a giant child in the sky.
Yeah, now that's not a bad idea. I say the Invisible Friend, Sky Wizard, Sky Child. I think I'm going to start going with Sky Child. That's awesome. That's awesome. Alrighty, well, we got to get out of here. I want to thank our guest, Microbloganism. Once again, where can they find your show?
On YouTube, under Microbloganism.
Yes, under the name, and I'll spell it one more time here for you, MicroBloganism. And he's on Twitter under the same name at Microbloganism. All right, we'll be back next week with our regular short show. Until then, this has been Packard Pokes That. We just poked at your news.
And that's a wrap.